Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Charity Chibeze, and thank you for joining the Insight Spark webinar today. And we are going to be talking about a very, very interesting topic. And this has to do with AI and its era. AI is truly rising. Our topic today says AI is rising. Will you sink or stay afloat as a creative? Right. So I want us to do the later to stay afloat and not to sink, yeah. But I want us to really look into the subject today. And with me in the studio is no other person but Wisdom. And Wisdom is a very, very amazing personality. And I'm so glad to have you join me today. He's a digital
Yeah.
strategist. And I'm so glad to have you. Wisdom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm grateful.
You're welcome. So, guys, I know that there is so much in stock for you. Please just stay alert and just follow the conversation because it's going to be very, very interesting. Okay, so AI is no longer coming, like they say, it's already here with us. It's changing everything, the way creative things, the way we design, the way we go about things, even writers today uses AI and all of that. So, want to know how to really take advantage of this AI in this era as creative. So you're asking the big question, will I be replaced? So people are thinking, what becomes my fate in the era of AI? So today we have Wisdom to help us answer some of the questions we'll be having in this podcast. And I just wanted to stay connected. Please go follow through with us in this live stream. And like I said, there is a free ebook for you, and you can always access it probably after the webinar. So we'll share it in the comment section. But by the way, we want to say thank you for being part of this community and for listening to us. So once again, Wisdom, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so going on, the first question I have here for you is what does staying afloat really means today? What does staying afloat really means today?
All right. So basically, just to be sure, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. I don't know if your Facebook audience can still hear me. Not sure.
I doubt if they can, but I think it's just let's just continue. I'll just have to record it and then share with them later on.
All right. Okay. So to the topic, AI is rising, like you rightly said. Well, it's rising, and just like many of the things that has happened over the years, AI is just one of the other. We can't stop change. And then the question is, are you going to stay afloat or are you going to sink as a creative? Well, what does it mean to stay afloat? It means to have like a self-sufficiency, it means to have stability and balance. So that's part of what we're going to be talking about in today's session, how to stay afloat, how to gain stability, how to adapt to the changing times that AI is bringing.
Interesting. Yeah, so is it actually a threat or do you think it's an opportunity for people who are looking into that?
Well, and to answer that, I'm going to give an instance from history, right? Because depending on the person, it could be a threat or an opportunity. So, for instance, in the 19th century, late 18th century or 19th century, when they had a typewriter, now if
Yeah.
someone had said, "I'm the best typewriter in the world, and I'm not going to change from this," and then personal computers came out, and the person still said, "I'm going to hold on to my typewriter," definitely are going to go obsolete. Now, over the years as well, we've had the subsistence farmer, those that just farm with their hoes and cutlass in the field. If they had said, machine is coming, farm machineries are coming, they're going to take over my job, and then they hold on to their hoes and their cutlass, definitely the times is going to change and then get past them. So I think we're going to be dissecting the kind of mind we should be having as a creative towards AI so that we can utilize it to be an opportunity and not a threat.
Interesting. That was a brilliant answer. We can actually utilize that to see it as an opportunity and not a threat. Because I feel it's a valid question if people are to ask
Yeah.
such questions, right? Because
Okay.
it's something that is not the usual normal, right? It's
Yeah.
a new innovation that most persons are wondering, like, do I even need this as a creative? Do I
Yeah.
need to get to know more about AI and the likes of it? Okay, thank you for that. So my next question for you is this. What are the roles that you feel that can be at risk in this era of AI? Are there roles that you ffeel cannot be replaced? Are there some that are highly at risk that you feel people should really sit up in this area?
Yeah, so I think maybe not to mention any particular one, probably mention some, but can just
Please, I
give
think
like a rule
if
of
it's
thumb.
not necessary, you can leave that.
We can give like a
Okay.
rule of thumb. When you see
Yeah.
this in a particular role, know that this can be replaced. When you see this, you
Mhm.
know that this cannot be replaced. So basically, as a rule of thumb, so if that role you have things that are repetitive, that has a pattern, and that can easily be recreated, they stand a chance to be taken over by AI. Actually, they do.
Yeah.
So one of them actually is graphic design. Now, the reason I said that is because it has some templates. Of course, we're giving some how to go about it as a graphic designer,
Yeah.
how not to be taken over by AI. Now, if it has templates, can be repeated over time, and then can easily be done, like there's a pattern to it, it just stands a chance of being taken over by AI. But of course, we'll give a way out in this webinar.
Okay, thank you so much. But there's another thing that I think about AI, especially when it has to do with design. Do you think
Yeah.
it's going to replace originality? Because sometimes I see some designs that were created from AI and all of that, and I'm seeing that there's this touch that shows that this thing was artificially created. And sometimes when
Yeah.
you see another person's design with another person's design, it's almost looking similar. You can tell that this was created from AI. So do you think that it actually has a way of taking out originality from the whole space for us, or there is actually a balance to this? Probably the creatives are not using it so well the way it should.
Yeah, so I think to answer that, AI is not going to take originality. So what AI is meant to do is to help us do all of those background repetitive work. That's what AI is very good at, generating
Or like
ideas,
automation. Mhm.
automations here, generating all those repetitive stuff that could be done. But when it comes to originality, it's still left for the humans because AI cannot originate, AI cannot initiate, only responds. So as we prompt it, it responds back to us. But to take an initiative on its own, that's where the human comes in. And then the human is now asking, what do I want to achieve? Who am I trying
Yeah.
to who am I trying to serve? What problem am I trying to solve? Then they use AI as a tool to be able to achieve their goal. But for originality, the humans are still at the top.
Interesting. Okay, so still looking at that topic, staying afloat as a creative. So what do you think afloat in this case will now mean for a creative? How do we define that in a layman's term?
Yeah. So like we've already explained the meaning of afloat, it means to have stability and then self-sufficiency. In this case, afloat means being relevant, irrespective of what is happening. Now, afloat also means to be in the know, to be in the constant lane of learning, and that's probably like one of the best skills to have at this time, where you are learning, constantly learning. Okay, what's the next thing? And so it's called skill stacking. So if I'm probably just going to give one, is I'm going to say, for instance, if the person is a graphic designer, you're not
Yeah.
asking what can AI not do that I can do? Now, someone
Mm.
that wants a graphic design solution, what are they trying to achieve? Either a business or something. When they want, when the business owner probably wants people to see their flyer and then take an action, then they're not asking, can I stack another skill called copywriting or sales or conversion or sales copy to the skill of graphic design? So that when I design my flyers, in that flyer, is a flyer that has high conversion rates. When someone sees that, so it's not just a generic flyer again. You're not trying to solve for problems, solve for solutions. So that's one way that we can do that. So it's called skill stacking. You're also going to learn the skill of negotiation, learn the skill of sales, and then you're stacking these skills. It just sets you apart from anything that can be done repetitively by AI tools.
Wow, interesting. So it means that there are so many opportunities that AI has created that we just
Yeah.
need to maximize. I don't know if you can mention like few of it. In the area of writing, I don't know if you can talk about some tools that probably can help creatives when it has to do with that.
Oh, so very good question. So one of them is copywriting. So for instance, it can take months to actually learn copywriting because you need to learn how to persuade people in writing. But now there's a role that AI has created, which is like the AI assisted copywriting or AI assisted copywriter. That's like you can just use framework to get what you're trying to do. You're trying to now get, instead of starting from a plain sheet, you're trying to get a structure that you can work with. So there's the role of AI copywriter that AI has created. There are also some roles like that. AI strategies. You can use AI to more like a rack system
Okay.
to gather information of a company, and then so that you can prompt, and then LLM teach the machine the documents of the company, so that whenever they prompt it, it just gives them that feedback from the company. So there are many roles that AI has created, but one just has to be a constant learner to take advantage of them.
Interesting. So looking at what you said, there are different ways we can leverage on AI. So we need to be proactive. We need to be
Very
interested.
true.
First of
True.
all, like not just knowing that this exists, but you want to make sure that you're actually looking out for ways to leverage AI to your own advantage, okay? Even as a
True.
creative. All right. So my next question here for you is, what skills should creative learn now? Now we are talking about AI. What are the skills? I think there are things around prompting and the likes of it, because all of these things are important. You don't just want to know that AI exists, but you want to know some of the
Yeah.
necessary tools you need to learn as a creative. I don't know if you can go on to mention some of those things that can help as well.
Okay, so before I talk about the tools that you should learn, I'll probably just talk about the human skill that you should imbibe first before you go to the tools. So one of the human skills you should be imbibing, because another rule of thumb for staying afloat in the AI era is to tend towards the human, tend towards that thing that the AI cannot do. One of them is emotional intelligence. Now that's something that the AI cannot do. Another skill that you should learn as a human is skill of negotiation. Because no matter how this AI tools, AI cannot help you negotiate, can only give you tips on how to negotiate. Another skill is skill of yeah, I've mentioned negotiation, I've mentioned emotional intelligence, I've mentioned empathy. So being able to hold a conversation with a person and then convince them or persuade them that this is the reason they should go with your own thoughts. Then after you do that, it now becomes easier, whether you're a copywriter or a web designer or a graphic designer. If you're able to add that touch to speak to the client or speak to your employer, and then using the tools, the tools are more like having employees that you work with and then you're supervising them.
Yeah.
Then the particular tool doesn't really matter anymore, but there are many of them out there that you can use to now generate those ideas to help you make your work more efficient.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so, so much. And
Yeah.
looking at how important this subject is, what can somebody do to, to not stay afloat or to sink in this era? We are looking at how to stay afloat. There are
Yeah.
things you can do, if you don't really want to like take hold of this opportunity. So what are the things that somebody can do that can make them sink in the era of AI and make them to, stay irrelevant as the case may be?
All right. So to just answer that quite straightforward, I'll just give the instance of before Henry Ford brought about the Ford Motors. So they had an entire industry of horse, where people horse was the means of transportation. So people, they had the those that took care of the horse. They had those that took care of the legs of the horse. Also had the jobs of those that were able to pack the excreta from the road. Now, when Henry Ford brought about the Ford Motors and then it was affordable to all, the person that is
Yeah.
going to think is the one that says, here is a new technology that will make life easier, but I'm going to stick to my horse. I'm not going to leave my horse. I will stick to my horse and then leave the vehicle that Ford has brought. So to answer that, I think the best way to sink or the easiest way to sink is just to stay with what you already have and say, I'm not going to make any change. I'm not going to make any improvement to my skill or anything. I'll hold on to what I already know. And that's just a sure way to sink in this area.
Yeah, so it's really important that we flow with the flow, right? Like get to know
Adaptability,
what's
yeah.
happening around you. So I was going through a course in one of my master's program, and one of the women that was teaching about digital women that was teaching about digital transformation, she made a statement that
Yeah.
really stayed with me. She said something around people not okay. She was discussing with someone lately, and the person was saying, "Oh, she was talking about OPay." And the person
Okay.
was saying something like, "Oh, I can't use OPay. That why will I use OPay? It's not something she was used to." And OPay
Yeah.
wasn't totally out of place. It's actually a banking app. But she
Yeah.
felt like for her, because of what she was used to, she preferred to go to the bank, deposit her
Mm.
money. When she wants to take it, she goes to the bank again to receive it. I'm wondering to myself, in this era, when everybody has moved to something better, right? So even if it's
Something
not
new.
OPay, there
Yeah.
are so many digital bankings that you can do from the comfort of your home, even the use of your ATM card and the likes of it from wherever you are. So I think that for innovation, once it happens this way, you need to also know how to position yourself so that you don't lose relevance in whatever thing that is currently ongoing.
And I think in addition to what you just said,
Yeah.
the reference is one thing that makes
Yes.
people not to move over is the fear of uncertainty or the fear of discomfort. So by the time you already have something that you're used to, change to the new now becomes uncomfortable. But it's just one of those things that happen when change comes that people are able to adapt. Those that adapt and follow the flow are those that stay afloat at the end of the day.
Interesting. So now I
Yeah.
want to take you back to somewhere. I know you're also
Okay.
a product designer, so I have a question for you. So how
All
can
right.
how can creatives, especially for product designers, how can they integrate AI in their workflow? Can you just talk about that briefly and how AI can help to fast track probably their work and what they do?
All right. So, like we said before, it's still fundamental. Um, it's still a matter of skill stacking. If a person is a product designer and then what they did before was to produce beautiful UI and then UX as well, they now want to learn about because people want results, businesses want results. And then if I'm going to build a site, I want the site to be speaking from me 247 without me being there. So product designers should learn also. It's a very, very important skill, copywriting, because it's salesmanship in print. You should be able to sell people on whatever you are doing. So if you are building a site or building what's it called now, any platform at all, you should have that at like one of the things that you should be implementing. Then you can use AI as well to generate ideas, like we said. You can use them to get drafts. But at the end of the day, as a product designer, you are the one that's going to coordinate all of those ideas into what you're looking for as the human. But of course, you can use to generate ideas, make them faster, make them more efficient, and then you can flow from there and then build with the knowledge that you already have.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
also want to ask this. It might look similar, but I feel it's quite different. Okay, so my
Okay.
question is, how do creatives stand out when they are using AI? Remember, I talked about the aspect where you see a designer design like a flyer with AI, and you're wondering like, this looks like something you've seen before. Are there things you can do to make it look a bit different? And in using AI, is there a way to use it in such a way that it doesn't look like something that every other person is using? I feel like there's a way to navigate this thing. So, what are your advice for people that are using this to be able to stand out, even though they are using AI, but they're not abusing it? Because there's a way to abuse it and it becomes so bad.
All right, so I'll probably just use the counterpart, which is developers. So there's some people that are there's now the vibe of we can write code and all of that. Then they generate code using AI tools, and then you end up
Yeah.
having something similar. The AI is like the icing on the cake, right? But there needs to be that foundation. So the person needs to learn, a coder needs to learn, or a developer needs to learn coding in its entirety before you can start exploring with AI. AI is to use to make things generate more variations of what you already have. So if we multiply anything by zero, we're going to get zero. Now, that thing that you're going to use AI to multiply is like your foundation. Then, as a product designer, like we said, generate ideas, generate mood boards. But when it comes to the core of product design or any other creative skill at all, you need to know what you're doing, right? You need to know your field. You need to know this is what I'm doing. I'm a copywriter, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a product designer, I'm a developer. You need to know it. Then AI can I help you do more variations and then make it faster. But you need to know your
Thank
content.
Exactly. Thank you so much. And at this point, I just want us to, talk about AI. AI simply means artificial intelligence. In case you're watching us and you're wondering what is AI that you're saying. Okay, so this is just like an abbreviation of the word artificial intelligence, and want to see how we can use this effectively as creative in this season and this
Yeah.
era to stay afloat and not to sink. Thank you, Wisdom. You've been doing an amazing job so far. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you as
intelligent
well.
responses. All right, so moving on, I want us to look at um, how personal branding can make one to really stand out. How important is personal brand even in this era of AI? Because I know that some persons might just come up, oh, today I'm designing this, tomorrow I'm into this, I'm vibe coding, tomorrow I'm doing another one. You're everywhere because AI now simplifies our workflow and simplifies our work. So you don't even niche down. You're not known for anything. You're just here, 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 here. So I just wanted to, I know it's not really the core of the subject, but I just wanted to talk about how people can stay intentional even in their personal branding, especially when they want to create a unique identity that people can know them for, even in this era of AI.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Very, very, very good question. So, like we've been saying, the core is the core. Before the whole AI thing came about, there is the need to be able to be known for one thing. There's that need. So now, in as much as we now have tools that can help you replicate things, even in field that you don't know anything about, there's still that need for you to be known for one thing. Where they say, "Who is this person?" and then you have this person. Can someone go to your LinkedIn and then see what you have? Now, what you should be doing is to use AI in that your field. It's more like pushing away the distractions. I know AI can be used to, you may be tempted to want to build Amazon using AI, you may be tempted to want to build Spotify using AI, but it's now pushing aside those distractions and say, what
At the
I'm
core.
doing, what I want to be known for is probably product design. How can I use AI in my field? More like, how can I use AI? I'm a copywriter. I help businesses write copies that convert. How can I use AI in my field? Because that's very important. So you just can't keep jumping from this looks interesting, you go here, this looks interesting, you go here. We're trying to
Yeah.
bring AI into my core. Can I use AI to develop, to build on what I'm already building? More like it. So AI is like the icing on the cake to build the core, the foundation.
Well,
And your
thank you
personal
so,
branding is
so
also
much.
very important as well.
Yeah, that is brilliant. It's so, so important. So I think we as creatives should pay attention to that. That doesn't mean that you can't stack up skills, but make sure
Yeah,
you don't lose, your core. Let people know you for at least one thing, then they can know you
true.
for more things over time. All right. Thank you
True.
so much. So we are still on this. So I want us to look at another question I have here for you, which is talking about monetization and long-term positioning. Okay, so looking at monetization and long-term positioning, my question for you is, how do creatives make money with AI, right, in this season of AI and all of that? What are the suggestions you can come up with, which people can use to probably make money in this era of AI?
All right. So, talking about monetization, it still follows a pattern to monetize anything. Um, so, in as much as AI is everywhere, research shows us that, if I'm getting my statistics right, that only 10% are actively using AI. Only 10% are actively, they know about and they are actively using it. The,
Yeah.
the number in between, the spread in between, around 40 something, 50 something, they know about it, but they're not actively using it. So probably one of the ways that you can monetize it is, can I teach people what I know?
Mm-hmm.
Can I teach people how to use AI in my field? So like we said before, it's about personal branding, your core. Once you have your
Yeah.
core, you put a branding around your core. Then when people know you for this, you can monetize by offering it as a service to
Mm-hmm.
individuals. You can monetize by teaching people that want to learn what you do in that your field and using AI. You can monetize by having a community, of course, start with a free one, and then probably later you can upgrade to subscription community. But you can monetize as long as you have audience that know you for what you're doing. You can monetize anyway, either providing service or teaching or having a community like that, free and then paid.
I like what you said about having an audience that know you for one or two things, which is so
Yeah,
important because that's where we talked about the personal branding and how
true.
important that is in your building. Because it's those
Very
same
true.
people that will still want to like, so I trust this person. I feel they know what they are saying, and I want to patronize them even
Very
when they
true.
put out like a product out there. All
Very
right,
true.
thank you. Still moving on. So, what separate those who thrive versus those who struggle in this era?
Yeah, simply like we said, the farmer that said farm machinery is a threat to me and then stick to their hole is going to go obsolete. They are not going to make ends meet. But the one that says, okay, this is going to help me save time, is more efficient, is stronger than I am. All I have to do is to learn the new skill of how to use a machine instead of using a hoe. So those that are going to stay afloat are those that are able to relearn, right? To relearn the skills that is needed to use these tools because they are basically just tools. So those that will stay afloat are those that are able to adapt, those that are able to
Yeah.
learn again. But those that are not going to stay afloat or sink are those that are going to say, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to adapt. I won't go with the flow. Then just with time, it's just a passing thing. With time, they're going to be obsolete. But of course, the basic skill is being able to have this mind to learn. We're learning every day.
Wow, interesting. That's a fantastic response. So AI doesn't really kill creativity, it just
No, not at
exposes
all.
our creativity. Because I feel this is more like an added edge for us. It's just for you to know how to utilize it well for your own use. Thank you so
True.
much, Wisdom. So before we wrap up, I just want to know if there are some AI tools you can list out there that people can explore on their own. I know the regular one for everybody, the common one is ChatGPT, right? So you can just list a few that you feel people can look into and probably explore them on their own.
Okay, so pending, like you mentioned already, the popular one is ChatGPT. There is also the one by Claude by Anthropic, I guess. There's also Grok AI. There is also the one for music, Suno Music, for those that are into music production. There are also the ones for videos as well, in case you want to produce videos. So they are all online when you check. Some of them are free, and then they have their free tier, then they have the paid subscription. But of course, you can use them to test your ideas, and then when you have substantial results, you can now migrate to the premium version. But of course, AI too is just around for everything that you want to venture into.
Wow, thank you so much. So always remember that AI is not here to end your creative career, rather it is here to redefine that in a more better way. So thank you so much, Wisdom. You did amazing, and I'm so glad for having you today. So for those that are
Thank
joining
you.
us, we have a free ebook for you. For those that are currently on the call right now, and those that will still watch later, this ebook is there for you, and you can access the link via the comment section. And I'm super glad to have Wisdom join me today. I want to say thank you so much for the brilliant responses you gave to our
Thank you.
questions around
Thank you.
how to stay relevant in the era of AI as a creative. So I don't know if you have like a final word to tell us, or probably also let people know how they can connect with you after this webinar.
Okay, probably just final words as we
Okay.
wrap up. And thank you so much, Charity, for being a great host. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
like we
you.
learned in, I think, primary school or secondary school, that there are four factors of production. One is the land, one is capital, two is capital, three is labor, and then the fourth one is the entrepreneur. Now, what AI is coming to help us do is to move from the labor to the entrepreneur. What does the entrepreneur do? He's the one that uses all of those things. The land, of course, used to be physical, now it's online. Anywhere that is called
Mhm.
land is online. Either your website, your social media handles, is land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So capital is either your own personal money or OPM, other people's money is capital. Now the labor is now the AI tools. So what you could have done instead of basically it's if you were a product designer or any other one, you can now migrate to calling yourself a media company. You are a media company because now you have labor. The AI is your labor
Mhm.
actually because
Mhm.
you can generate content, right, for your social media post or for even for clients, and then you use your human empathy ability to connect with humans to refine the content that AI is giving you. So AI is not at the point where you can do everything end to end. You still have to do that, but to generate ideas, you can do that too. So you are now the media company coordinating all of this, the land, coordinating the client, coordinating the capital. Then you are now supervising these AI tools. So they are working for you, and then they are not taking over your role. You are still the mind. You are still the mind
Uh,
behind anything that you are building. But that's so AI is never a threat. It's just how you see it. Can I make it? Can I use it to make my work more efficient? Can I use it to make my work faster? Can I accomplish more in
uh,
lesser time? So that's what AI is for.
Guys, remember what he said, that AI is not a threat. It's not. So if you've been running away from AI before this time and you're like, oh, I don't want to use I don't know if this is too big for me to learn and all of that. Please,
Yeah,
I want you to start learning now. Learn how to prompt, learn how to, utilize AI tools for your own advantage, and really to help you to stay ahead of your game, like
very
Wisdom
true.
rightly said. Please, if you're yet to subscribe, if you're yet to like, if you're yet to share, if you're yet to
Please subscribe and
download
share.
your book, please go ahead and subscribe and do so. Thank you once again for joining the community. I'll be dropping
Yeah,
Wisdom's social media handles and links via the comment section. Please feel free to follow him. And he
yeah.
is an amazing resource. And please reach out to him and just please feel free to follow him. And I trust you, it's going to be amazing. You will really learn a lot from him. Thank you once again, Wisdom, for being here. That was so insightful.
Thank
And
you.
I really do
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you. And for our viewers, thank you and see you some other time. Really appreciate your time here.
And of course, for those that want to follow, they can follow
Okay.
using Wisdom Eziog on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp. I think Charity is going to post that later on.
Yes, surely I'll do that via the comment section. Thank you guys and do have a
Thank you
nice
so much.
time. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for having
Bye.
me.
All right,
Bye.
you're welcome. Have a nice day,
Yeah.
Wisdom. Thank
And you
you.
too.
Thank you so much.